Concerning the evidence that the Qur'an was perfectly preserved in its entirety, it's important to start by looking at how the Qur'an was recorded at the time of its revelation. An excellent text on this topic is by Mustafa Azami called The History of the Quranic Text, an excellent book that handles this topic in a lot of detail, well referenced. And basically, to put it briefly, while the Quran was being revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once he had gotten enough literate followers, he started getting them to put it in writing. Before then, the Quran was committed to memory and used every day in prayers. While the Quran was being revealed, therefore, we had two things going on simultaneously. Those who could write were recording it in writing, and others would memorize whatever they could of the revelation. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, as he dictated the Quran to his scribes, he would require them to read back to him what they were writing, and if there were any corrections, he would make the necessary corrections. This carried on throughout the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. By the end of the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, the entire Quran had been transcribed by a number of people. There was a gentleman, Zayd bin Thabit, who was one of the main scribes of the Prophet, peace be upon him, but there were a number of others who had written the Quran down directly from the Prophet's dictation. The other thing the Prophet, peace be upon him, did was to encourage people to memorize the Quran and to teach it to others. And a lot of people had memorized the Quran, as we find even today. Actually, in many schools where they teach people hifz or tahfidh, the memorization of the Quran, people memorize the entire Quran in just about 2 to 3 years. And these are people who usually don't even speak the language of the Quran, the language of Arabic. And so over a period of 23 years of the Prophet Muhammad's prophethood, the Quran being revealed in rhythmic tones and being memorized by people, it was easy for the whole Quran to be memorized by literally hundreds of companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And because they were using the Quran in their daily recitations, it was easy to identify mistakes in recitation. So naturally, because it wasn't a very literate community, you had more people who had memorized the Quran and a lot of people also, but not as many, who had written the Quran on various forms of material, including leather, the skin of animals, and sometimes palm fronds, the branches of palm trees, or the scapulae or the big bones of animals such as camels, etc. But when the Prophet passed away, the next leader of the Muslim community was Caliph Abu Bakr. He noticed after a particular battle that a lot of the people who had memorized Quran, a good number of them had died in that battle. And it became a wake-up call, and some said, let us ensure that the Quran is all in one volume, not with different people in their private possessions. And so at a time when a lot of people had the Quran memorized, the Caliph Abu Bakr instructed Zayd bin Thabit to get others and as a committee bring out an official copy of the Quran that will be kept by the Caliph himself, that will be kept by Abu Bakr. So what he did was to ensure that every verse that was going to be written down as part of the official final copy of the Quran, that every verse should have been recorded by at least 2 people who had written the Quran down. They had it in writing from the dictation of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself. In other words, he wanted two people who were there to write it down, who had heard it directly from the Prophet, peace be upon him. But he wanted two additional people, a minimum of two additional people, who memorized the Qur'an from the lips of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So not people who heard it from somebody else or learnt it from prayer, but learnt it directly from the dictation of the Prophet, peace be upon him. So every verse of the Qur'an has been confirmed by no less than 4 independent individuals who had either copied it directly from the dictation of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or had memorized it from the dictation of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that Qur'an, or what was then called a mushaf, that it was all in a book form now instead of in different sheets, was given to the Caliph Abu Bakr. When he died, he passed it to the next Caliph, Umar. When he died, he passed it to his daughter Hafsa, the wife of the Prophet, to hold, because the next Caliph had not yet been chosen by the committee set by Umar to nominate the Caliph after him.